I am hearing myself from somewhere.
That would be my partner, I. Basley. I'm DM Stewart, 1981.
Yes, and we're going to be doing commentary for this match with Maniacal42 and Ihavenoname248.
Looks like Maniacal is right away going for escape. And I Have No Name is going straight after the Houlihan room.
Yes, and we've been seeing this a lot, and it generally has been working out well for people.
And Maniacal with the bow already.
The bow, nice.
No Name picks up the flute at Link's house, and Maniacal gets a full heart from Sanctuary Chest.
Did Maniacal grab that flute? He started off at Link's house, didn't he? Oh.
He did, but I didn't notice if he got the chest.
Yeah, we might have just missed that as we were getting started. I'm sure he would have grabbed that chest. And some blue rubies from the crab. That's nice. Although there's one stuck behind the tree, so it's not dropping anymore. And I also want to throw out there we have Vitasia tracking today and Epibliticus doing the restream.
And it is a full heart in Lumberjack Cave.
So as of yet, no Aghanim seed for this one, as far as we know.
Getting that bow early is a big help. With no sword as of yet.
Yeah, definitely. And I'm interested to see if there will be a crystal at Eastern giving us a nice early first crystal or not. Although I would not be surprised with an early bow drop if it's a pendant, unfortunately.
Bottle in the forest ledge, so that means we could see an early sick kid check.
And that's always nice when you can sort of get through all of this and not think, oh, I might have to go back for that one item to check, you know?
Yeah, I hear you there.
And you have to try to route it into something else you're doing to try and be time efficient. And there's a fairy in that bottle too, so that's a nice little safety to have right off the bat.
Agreed. Maniacal going to buy some bombs, it looks like.
Mm-hmm. I'm deciding to activate the flute first. Early swag duck hype.
Just as long as he doesn't do what I do and forget he has it.
Yeah, that can definitely happen, especially early on when you're not used to being able to now fly around and having access to so much. It opens up a lot, especially right at the beginning. We get a sword from Sick Kid.
And the run has been validated. The single arrow. And the moon pearl.
Oh, nice. Now, do we need all 3 forms of validation? Because that's something I've been unclear on recently. Do we also need the chicken clip validation and the validation chest for it to truly be valid? Or is it just one of the 3?
And we get a power glove out of the well as well.
Nice.
I love the power glove. It's so bad.
We almost have our Dark World access.
We just need another lift upgrade. And there's flippers in Blind's hut. We just need another lift upgrade or hammer.
Mm-hmm. And so now they'll be wrapping up what the other just checked. So we've seen these, and I imagine the routing probably won't diverge quite yet, unless we have that other lift upgrade or hammer maybe at a race game in a moment. Otherwise, I imagine they'll both be probably heading towards maybe the South Hyrule checks for those free open items.
Okay, Tower of Hera was green pendant, and Eastern and Desert were both crystals, but I didn't see which.
So we may just end up seeing an early crystal from Eastern. Often people go there to check at least the first few items, but now if you're there with Bo anyway, you might as well go through and clear it up as well.
Yes, and we forgot to mention Blue Mail, aka Banana Hat, was also in the well.
Banana Hat height. Looks like Maniacal's heading up to escape, because I think he's already been to Uncle in that chest, so he's probably going to hop into Hyrule Castle here. And Ihavenoname is going for the South Hyrule items. Oh, or maybe he didn't go to Uncle. I guess we just saw No Name doing that.
I've tried routing both ways, and I'm still not sure which is faster, whether it's to go and get the chest first and then go back out and get the Sluice Gate, or the other way around.
Yeah, I'm not sure either. I have seen both. I imagine it's a small time difference if there is one at all. We're going to get Mini Moldorm Cave here. 5 item locations coming up. Just a red rupee from the first chest and escape.
Mini Moldorm's always a good place to get early. No Name almost getting sucked out the door.
Yeah, I was going to say, I thought he was going to leave for a second there. A lot of health, which isn't unwelcome right now.
Shield isn't bad to pick up either.
Yeah, not necessarily the progression you might want from there, but this early on, some health and a shield, not a problem. Definitely something you're okay with seeing.
Agreed. And we have our first Kappa in chat. Okay, Ice Rod Cave is always it's easy to miss because people a lot of times won't pick it up.
Yeah.
And it's the red boomerang.
Red boomerang. I mean, it's so far out of the way that for one item, it definitely feels like a bit of a time sink, especially if it's not something you're looking for, such as the red boomerang, although that can be useful this early on when you have not a lot of equipment to work with yet. Maniacal's heading to the back of Escape Through the Grave. I'm not sure about his dark room comfort. I know the majority of runners in this tournament have practiced them a lot, so I'm interested to see if he'll hop in there.
Well, it looks like he can't do it backwards because he got the key.
Yeah, and it looks like it will be an item because he also got the map. Oh yeah, he's going for it.
I am just not comfortable doing dark rooms.
I could do the Eastern Palace ones and the Old Man Cave, but that's about it right now. I've been meaning to practice.
Oh, see, I can only do the first two Eastern Palace ones. I can't do the back one.
Maniacal's making his way through quite well. It does help. The sewer area is nice because you can see what's the word? The ripple in the water from where you're walking.
One of the only reasons to walk in the water rather than on the tiles. Okay, 3 items available over there in Eastern Palace, where No Name is going. And the first one is a green rupee.
Not necessarily what you hope to see, although as you've been saying, if he's cool with dark rooms or finds that lamp, he'll also be able to complete it. So that's a nice. That early bow drop is always nice.
The bow being one of those items that's required for every seed.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, apparently Dark Escape had an ice rod in it.
Oh. Could be important.
And Desert is 5 and Eastern is 3, having just seen Maniacal check the map there.
Oh, and Maniacal is going for the Houlihan setup using this grave. Once you have flippers, the other method doesn't work anymore, so you can actually bomb yourself into this grave to get put into the Houlihan room. So we're probably going to be seeing a Zora play coming up.
That would make sense for why you would go after some rupees.
Yep. And we've got the big key early for Eastern.
Although not yet, because he went down to Southern Hyrule, so now it looks like Maniacal is going to check the Sluice Gate, Mini Mole Dorm, and possibly Ice Rod Cave.
Yeah, and that makes sense too, because then you route Hobo and Zora all into the same thing, since you're right here at Lake Hylia and can hop into the warp. And sure enough, Ihavenoname is doing at least the first dark rooms for Eastern.
Somewhat ironically, I'm more comfortable doing the Stalfos dark room than the one that's just a circle.
Yeah, I mean, the one that's just a circle is, you know, as much as it's straightforward, it's to get through it in the dark. I mean, you're guaranteed to start hitting things, so it makes sense because that throws you off without being able to see where you've been bounced around to by all the stuff in that room. Versus the Stalfos room, I feel like you can get through without having to necessarily worry about hitting anything. I think we've got an item on Armos.
That's what it looks like. And it looks like Ihavenoname is dropping down to get a fairy.
Nice, not a bad move. Especially when you're about to go into another dark room, as he might be choosing to do right now. Which it looks like he is.
But he handles
Nice.
that one really well.
Yeah, he did a really neat thing there where he sort of stuck an arrow to the Igor when it wasn't moving so that he could see the arrow start moving. Give a nice little visual cue for when it was walking at him and he could shoot it.
That is a strategy I may have to use.
Yeah. Yeah, any sort of visual cues in dark rooms that you can get are very helpful. Ice Rod and Ether can be helpful in there because when enemies are frozen, they show up on the screen in dark rooms, so you can use that as a visual cue. The other great thing with that room is if you have the Fire Rod, you can just walk in, shoot a few shots straight in front of you because you're directly in front of a torch when you walk into that room. It just has to get through some enemies first.
And hello, Hammer.
Ooh. Nice. Now that technically is a sequence break based on the logic, it would have expected our runners to have the lamp already before getting that, but that does give us Dark World access. It's entirely possible that the lamp is locked behind the Dark World just through Aghanim, but now that can be avoided.
As chat points out, finally a good sequence break.
It happens sometimes. And we've got Ether from Waterfall Cave and a Pizza Hut.
Ether may or may not be required. We don't know yet.
Mm-hmm. And Ihavenoname is heading right for Village of Outcasts.
Right for Village of Outcasts, potentially Thieves Town.
Oh, that was a very quick map check. I saw Red Pendant at Thieves Town.
I saw a Pendant at Meyer and Crystal 6 in Skull Woods.
Okay. And it looks like he's heading up to do the beginning of Skullwood, something we've been seeing a lot of people do as well, which has been handy. There's been a lot of required double dips into Skull.
Well, it's version 26, do Skull Woods. And that's the Fire Rod out of Zora.
Oh, wow. So that will likely result in a bit of a time save for Maniacal when he eventually is here doing Skull and can also complete it at the same time.
I don't know about you, but totally worth 500 rupees.
Yes, definitely. We've had finally a sequence break that works, and finally Zora not ripping us off. And Maniacal's heading up for his Eastern play. Oh, I guess he has to check Sahasrahla first. I imagine he'll go into Eastern after this.
Presumably so.
Based on his dark room comfort and escape, I imagine he will also clear it and also get that hammer.
And to respond to the question in chat, I have no idea what sort of bizarro Hyrule this is. I missed what was in Sea House.
It was not significant, but I don't remember what insignificant item it was. I think it was a red rupee.
And a shield upgrade in Doorless Hut.
The second they pick up something that doesn't matter, it leaves my brain, so... But we're gonna get a Thieves Town check. Oh no, wait, he opened it, and then he's going to do the chest game, then we'll probably get a Thieves Town check. Just bombs.
No, we are getting a Thieves Town check.
Mm-hmm.
I like Thieves Town. It's a really easy dungeon to do, especially, and we've got a Master Sword.
Nice.
Especially when you've got the hammer and can full clear it.
Yeah, for sure.
It's not terribly big, and there's 4 unique items in it.
Mm-hmm. I always kind of prefer when it's crystal, because then it makes it feel like not only can I get in here, but it's a crystal with so little requirements blocking it that you kind of get that out of the way. But then I think the argument could easily be made that in the case of being a pendant, you might not have to worry about fighting blind, which is definitely a plus.
Especially early, because blind with not a lot of health can be a run killer.
Yeah.
As we have seen in other races in this tournament.
Mm-hmm.
And there's the cape. Oh, needs a bug net, and then clearly Aghanim required.
I do wonder, as Akasha was asking in the check, if we'll be able to see and work out how the seed would have been expecting them to get into the Dark World if it weren't for the sequence breaking. Because I wonder if it would have been an Aga required seed, or maybe there's another glove upgrade somewhere that they haven't gone yet that they could have gotten to before.
Right, because cape will be locked behind hammer or the other gloves.
Yeah. So there were a few spots that they had early access to that they haven't been to yet that could have made it so that, that other glove dropped. Oh, it's tempered.
Tempered.
Another sword upgrade in Thieves.
Well, Thieves Town clearly required.
Yeah. Actually, if it has all 3 upgrades, that could be true.
No, we've seen. I think we've seen all 4. No, we haven't seen all 4. We've only seen 3.
Yeah, and 2 of them were here, but you would always need at least Master Sword. So if 3 sword upgrades were in one place, you would technically have had to have gotten at least one of them. That would actually be pretty funny.
As is pointed out in the chat, V26 go independent dungeons.
Yep. Maniacal's having a bit of a harder time than Ihavenoname did with this dark room. But he worked it out. He definitely knew the strategy, it just didn't necessarily go perfectly for him there.
And a bee in a bottle.
A bee in a bottle. Was that all 4 that we've seen?
That was all 4.
I think I might have missed one.
Cape, sword,
Right.
bottle.
The cape, of course. Yeah, never mind. I didn't miss one. I just forgot about it for some reason. And it looks like Ihavenoname is thinking I've gotten this far and I have the cape and some magic. Let's just do this just in case.
Yes, to answer the question in chat, the sequence break was Dark Rooms in Eastern Palace.
Yeah.
The other thing about the blind fight is you gotta get it the first time, or it becomes twice as hard.
Yeah. Ihavenoname got through it, though. It's a map and a red pendant for his trouble, and Maniacal picks up his hammer.
Halt, for the hour of the hammer is upon us.
Oh, I like that phrasing. We can use that from now on. Is that trademarked?
It is not.
Excellent.
And it looks like Maniacal is heading straight for Village of Outcasts / Thieves Town.
Just a Pizza Heart up on Bumper Cave. No Name's heading up to mountain. Another
dark caves to get the old man.
Mm-hmm.
And yes, Misery Mire is a blue pendant.
Okay.
Maniacal can complete Skull Woods at this point.
He can. Yeah, I mean, I imagine he probably would go through it. It can be a little... The boss fight can be a little tricky when you're stuck with Fighter Sword. But at least he does have that Fire Rod. Fighter Sword and Half Magic, though, can be a bit of a pain to fight Mothula with.
Chat's already asking about the chances of a pedestal seed.
Well, we're always kind of hoping to see one, right?
Well, what we can speculate now, what could be in the pedestal that they would need? Could be the pendant to get into Turtle Rock.
Yeah. I want to say boots.
It could be boots.
If they're required to complete desert. Not Red Cane, because Mire is a pendant. Book would be a possibility if that's required in some capacity.
Well, boots could still be a pedestal seed, and it could still be boots in pedestal and not have boots required for desert.
True. It could be boots required for G Tower, which I don't know. Sometimes I might hope for pedestal seeds, but I'm not that mean.
Yeah, I would never wish that on these runners.
You get to G Tower and see that the big key is on the bonk torch, and that would just be the worst.
I've played seeds where I've gotten to G Tower without boots and been wondering if boots were going to be required.
No Name also picked up the lamp. I did not see where that happened, though.
It was in Spectacle Rock.
Oh, okay. Okay. Oh, so we actually would have, there would have been no logic required Aghanim in this because they had the flute. So there would have been a series of events logically, quote unquote, where they could have had the hammer without sequence breaking. Obviously, if their routing makes perfect sense since they know how to do the dark rooms, but as far as our earlier subject, not an Aga required seed for a change. It looks like No Name is going to take a peek at what's on the ledge. Having knowledge is generally a good thing. For example, knowing that it's just a green rupee and you don't need that.
And Maniacal is out of magic and can go no further in Skullwoods.
Hopefully he knows he can grab some in the previous section of the dungeon. Looks like he's going to go check that chest first. Oh, for the big key, so he can even head back and see what's in the big chest.
And it looks like he is going to take Death Warp.
Mm-hmm.
Which is thwarted by the fact that he has a fairy.
He has a fairy, that fairy that they got at the very beginning.
And it looks like No Name is going to check Hobo and Zora at this point.
Mm-hmm. And now we'll give him the fire rod. Maniacal's getting a little lost in Skullwoods there, but he's got it now. He's headed back.
I'll say this, if you are not already following these runners, give them a follow. Drop what you're doing and do that, because they deserve it.
They definitely do, and you know, I've actually heard a lot about Ihavenoname, but I have not watched them myself, so I apologize for not having more knowledge of their streams. But I definitely have to share something really cool about Maniacal's stream. The reason why he is at this tournament is because about, I think, 2 or 3 weeks ago, it was basically a challenge from his chat to, about a week and a half before the qualifiers, attempt to learn Randomizer and try to qualify for the tournament. And so he was, as of the qualifiers, had maybe been learning Randomizer for 2 weeks, I guess. And the amount of improvement is incredible.
That is really impressive.
Right? So yeah, definitely give both these runners a follow. Really, really good runners, really good streamers. And super awesome for doing this for us and letting us enjoy their race.
And Maniacal keeps trying, it looks like he's trying to Death Warp, but he just ends up back in the same room.
Mm-hmm. Oh, he's refilling his magic.
Thank you, chat, for pointing that out.
That's actually really cool.
See, that's why he's in the tournament and I'm not. I would never think to do that.
Yeah, there is a full magic pot back in one of the rooms in this section, but I also imagine it would be a bit of a pain to do. Looks like No Name was thinking about egging him for a second there, and I think realized that that's not going to be necessary. Maybe not.
It looks like he's going to head
Yeah.
down and do the Zelda rescue part of Escape.
Yeah, so he headed out there for a second, but...
And bad news from Maniacal's side, he finds out that the arrows do not work on
Right.
Gibdos.
Yeah. Silver arrows would. But yeah, unfortunately the regular arrows do not.
And Gibdos with Fighter Sword.
Oh, right, because Maniacal still hasn't been in Thief's Town, so he still has the Fighter Sword as, instead of Tempered Sword from those 2 sword upgrades. A little bit of extra magic there, and we're going to see he's going into Mothio fairly low.
Oh, the actual name of that boss is Mothula? I always just called it Mothra. Because I love Kaiju movie.
Yeah. He did manage to do it. Got pushed into the corner there. I think he's deciding whether he's going to try to go back down. No, I think he's going to head out and check out some other things first. Oh. Or he's resetting the mold worms. And yeah, as Chad is pointing out, I wonder how he would feel maybe using the hammer a bit on there. That full magic drop right there was nice too. He's going to try to go through here, dodging the Gibdos instead of fighting them, which works out for him.
Gibdos hurt, but not nearly as much when you only have blue mail instead of green.
Yes, absolutely. And No Name is clearing up Escape, as we saw Maniacal doing earlier, although now he's able to do it with his lamp in tow, so no dark room navigation.
And Maniacal takes another death from Mothula.
I think getting to the boss with only the 3 hearts is rough.
And No Name picks up his ice rod.
Oh, and No Name is going to head into House of Darkness. Which is a crystal and is entirely completable with the items that they have.
Oh yeah, I cannot say that's a bad play, because
No.
I think it's a good one.
Yeah, Maniacal's back in Mothula, this time with a lot more health.
I will say, Mothula is not an easy fight.
No.
Even with Red Mail and Tempered Sword, it is not an easy fight.
Definitely not, especially with the weird issues with when it does or doesn't take damage, and kind of have to wait for it to come into the middle a bit. You have to be very patient, but they force you.
Mothula is down.
And he gets the hook shot.
Hello, hook shot.
Oh, wow. Wow. Yeah, so I mean, we'll see what happens with No Name when he heads back that way, but I think the fact it's I think you could easily debate whether or not, you know, that was significant lost time taking those 2 deaths to Mothula, because No Name has also been to Skull Woods but couldn't finish it because he didn't have the fire rod yet. Now he's gonna have to head back there for the hook shot at some point.
Well, he was gonna have to head back there anyway because it's a crystal.
Well, yes, of course.
Oh, pod without mirror is just miserable.
Yeah. Never fun to route through there.
Chat seems to think that that is the right play from Maniacal.
Yeah, I definitely think so, because having to head back to Skull just for a crystal is one thing, but having to head back there for a crystal and a required item, that could easily even out the time that was lost by having a few deaths to Mothula.
Chet seems to think that if Maniacal decides to clear Thieves Town at this point, that the salt will flow freely.
Also probably true. I imagine he'll be kicking himself a little bit for not grabbing those 2 sword upgrades. Oh yeah, and the cape would have been significant as well.
Well, my personal distaste for Skull Woods, I would always do Thieves Town first.
Yeah, I think in general the Skullwoods check is definitely the right play. It's just interesting from this perspective. We know how much it would have helped to have gone to Thieves Town first, but I don't think going to Skull first was the bad play by any means. It made sense with routing. It just happened that in this one case, he could have had some sword upgrades and a cape.
Well, he's gotten one of them.
Yep.
And the chat makes a good point. The walk from Skullwoods back to Thieves Town is rather bothersome.
Yes, definitely, especially without the mirror. If you could just mirror out and head back down, you head up another portal. It's a little bit shorter than heading back through dungeon rooms.
Okay, so at 45 minutes, I think it's time to start thinking about what items these runners need still to find to be in go mode.
Yeah, absolutely. The only one we know for sure would be Red Cane. But there are definitely a lot of maybes still. We don't know what is needed to get into Turtle Rock. We don't know if they need to get into Mire, and if they do, what they need to get into it. We don't know if the boots are required or not.
We can guarantee that yes, they do need another lift upgrade.
Yes.
And No Name tries to death warp and has his death warp denied by
Oh
the
no,
presence
the
of
fairy.
a fairy.
They got that fairy very early on, so I understand forgetting that you have it, but it's never fun to try and death warp out and then have that happen. Yeah, and they're also going to need the mirror for Swamp Palace.
Yes.
And we haven't gotten a ton of value out of Pod yet.
Well, other than, of course, it being a crystal and being required anyway.
Yeah, of course. And I'm thinking Maniacal might also decide to go for the blind kill since he's already cleared so much of the dungeon. It'd be interesting to see if he decides not to do that and whether or not that will help or hurt him depending on whether we need those pendants. But it looks like he is going to do it.
I think it also may be the difference between not having mirror and having mirror.
Oh, true. Very true, yeah.
I mean, if I had the mirror in this situation, I'd be more inclined to take the gamble of just leaving the pendant.
Yeah, that definitely makes sense. It's either this or save and quit out or death warp out, and really, again, at least you get something out of this that could end up being helpful for you.
And a nice use of the cape to finish off blind.
Mm-hmm. As No Name heads into Helmasaur King. Why did I forget his name for a second there? Helmasaur King. Who is being rather kind today. Did he even shoot any fireballs? Did I just miss it? That was such a nice Helmasaur.
I didn't see any fireballs.
What a respectful Helmasaur that was. That's 2 crystals for No Name now, and Maniacal's going to be doing the South Dark World checks. Yeah. Whereas I think No Name headed right for Pod, if I remember. I don't call him heading down to South Dark World.
He did not.
Oh, just 20 rupees.
It's 20 rupees.
And quite a few digs to get to it, too, unfortunately.
Every once in a while, digging game is useful, but most of the time, it's not. Let's see what Stumpy has.
Also a red rupee.
Pyramid check from No Name. And it looks like Maniacal is headed towards The original Hype Cave.
Hype Cave. Just a bomb upgrade on the pyramid. I'm always hopeful for a hype.
I think I would be seriously considering Tower of Hera at this point.
We got Brian there. Not progression, but not unwelcome necessarily.
Looks like Catfish from No Name.
Mm-hmm. And yeah, I definitely agree on the Hera play. I think. I guess. Well, actually, I would agree on the Hera play if No Name had that hook shot yet. But without that, he's not going to be able to make it there yet.
That's true. But from a Maniacal side, I think Hera looks like the way to go.
I can imagine him also going to finish Pod like we saw No Name just do. But Hera definitely, I think, would be a great move right now. It is always nice to have another glove upgrade if you're going to be heading up that way anyway, and have the hook shot, and so you can sort of clear Death Mountain.
Right.
In one nice trip, but the glove upgrade could be up there, so...
I would say that if I also had the mirror.
Yes, yeah. Well, even if you don't have the mirror, you can do Hera and then check all of that stuff after. Either way, you're still in the area, which is nice. But mirror would also be really nice, because then you're checking a lot of item locations before heading into the dungeon. Can get safeties, can get required items.
Maniacal is making play on Pod. Oh yeah, Pod without the lamp.
Oh, that's true. Because whenever more than 20 minutes... Where did we pick up that lamp again? I don't remember where No Name picked up the lamp.
Spectacle Rock. Spectacle Rock.
Spectacle Rock. Right.
I mean, he can light the lamps with Fire Rod, but that doesn't help in all the rooms. I will say this though: when it comes to randomizer, I love lamp.
There's nothing better than a nice early lamp drop. I think no matter your level of comfort with dark rooms, it's just always nice to see regardless. You just know that you don't have to worry about it. But I think from what we've seen, both runners are definitely prepared for this situation, so I think we'll see some dark room plays from Maniacal and not be disappointed.
I would be inclined to agree with you there, partner. Looks like No Name is heading back to finish off Skullwoods.
Yeah, and given the items that he has, it definitely makes sense, and we know that he needs that hook shot, so this will open up a lot for him.
we're still looking for mirror. We're still looking for boots.
Mhm.
Still looking for mitts.
Yeah, and I'm getting a feeling. I have a suspicion that we're gonna find mitts on the mountain. Also, mitts on the mountain was very satisfying to say. I don't know why, but it just was.
Well, it's also a very satisfying place to get them.
Yes, definitely. Yes, the alliteration. That's exactly what it was. The alliteration.
I'm
And the
glad
classic...
I'm not the only person that does that. What Maniacal just did with the Ihavenoname248.
Oh, what did he do?
Killed the first one with the skull pot,
Mm-hmm.
and then shot the second one with the arrow.
Yes, yeah, that's what I do too. I was seeing No Name using the hand, the Wall Master to essentially warp back. Oh, and Maniacal lights the torch in the dark room, so he's getting through this one, being able to see.
Well, I think that's more to see the items than anything else.
Yeah. Yeah, it's definitely not. It's not the most difficult room to navigate. The dark maze will be the tricky one.
Nice use by No Name there to light all 4 torches in that room with 3 shots.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. And No Name's in Mafia now with that tempered sword, so much fewer hits than Maniacal had to do. But still, as you were saying earlier, still a tricky boss regardless. But he finishes it, and he's about to get an item he is looking for.
Maniacal over in the dark maze room.
I don't know it well enough to really comment, but it looks like he's making it through just fine. I think.
I get lost in that room without the with the lamp.
And No Name has already been on the mountains and rescued the old man, so he has he's got a save and quit spot for the mountain cave. And so now we're going to see the East Death Mountain and I imagine Tower of Hera all at once.
Which is a good routing decision, I think.
Yeah, definitely. Especially at this point, I don't even think there's not that much else even open to them anyway. So we gotta assume we're gonna find something here.
Powder.
That could be opening something up.
Do you want to have a fetch quest? Quake.
Quake, we could need that too. And I wonder if we'll be seeing the long walk through Spiral Cave, which can lead to boots. It's one of the things you never want to see there, but it's much nicer to just run through it.
Well, it's not as bad if you have hook shot.
True, true. Then you aren't pausing to... Well, I guess you're still technically pausing to kill things, but it's much easier than worrying about whether or not they're electrified or Moldorm's trolling you in general, since that's what they do. And our last medallion
on the island.
The last medallion just sitting up there. Also, he's heading right for... Oh, I spoke too soon. He was about to head right for Hera, but we're getting the spiral cave check.
He's choosing not to take the menu time to switch over to hookshot.
Mm-hmm. That's fair. It's still easy enough with tempered, and he didn't get too trolled there, so it worked out.
Even just with master, it's okay. And we've got
the glove upgrade. It also did just occur to me that tower pendant. So if he wants to do it because it's quick, or head into the dark world, which is what he is choosing to do.
Yes, Tower of Hera is a pendant, but it's green pendant.
Yeah, it's green pendant and it's fast, so I definitely think that would not be a bad play either. But I think checking these item locations and also checking what you need to get into Turtle Rock aren't bad.
Well, he can pick up Bombos, and then he doesn't care what you need to get to Turtle Rock, because he's got everything.
He would need the mirror, though, so... we're still lacking that, so that will be pretty interesting. If Turtle Rock is Bombos, then we have the mirror blocking 2 dungeons now.
Valid point.
We'll see. But I guess we'll see in just a moment.
And there are the 5 chests hookshot cave too. All these hearts, but no sign of Sank Heart.
Nothing from Hookshot Cave, unfortunately. Oh, and it looks like he's going to go for Spike Cave. I think he's betting on not needing to worry about what you need to get into Turtle Rock, which is fair because he does know that you still need the mirror regardless, and Bombos is right there if you head up in this direction.
And it looks like Maniacal is heading up Death Mountain himself.
Mm-hmm.
Someone in chat suggests powder to shovel to shroom to mirror.
I think when people suggest stop trying to make fetch happen, it's not going to happen.
I don't know. I've seen some chat comment curses before.
Yes, Mean Girls quotes forever.
And No Name is heading for Ice Palace.
Yeah, a perfectly sensible move. I think it makes sense.
Except for the fact that Ice Palace is just a horrible, horrible place full of ice physics.
Well, yes. I mean, you never want to be there. And it is unfortunate not to necessarily be able to go mode it, because he's going to want to check for everything. But really, without that red cane,
you know, the only time I like ice physics is when I'm watching curling.
Are you a big curling fan?
It's one of the few things I like to watch in the Winter Olympics.
Oh. I don't know, I can't say I know anything about curling, and I'm Canadian, so I think that's breaking some sort of rules or laws or something. Don't tell anyone.
Don't worry, it'll be our secret.
Yeah, no one else is listening to us, right? See both players making bomb jumps in different locations as Maniacal heads up Death Mountain. And hopefully he does that run through Spiral Cave and finds his mid upgrade, but as we've been saying, Tower of Hera isn't a bad play, so I could see him thinking of that next. And maybe he will find something there that makes it worthwhile.
Yeah, we haven't seen any, what I would call any, poor routing decisions.
Oh no, absolutely not. And, you know, if we have the situation of a pedestal seed, or, you know, even if something like boots is in here, even if they're not required, that is definitely value in taking this trip.
Well, one of the items is 300 rupees.
Mm-hmm. So we've either got a big key or a small key back here. Oh, the big key in the basement.
Oh, vanilla big key. You never want to see that.
No.
Camera. The only tile room that's worse is the Ganon's Tower tile room.
Yep. And this one at least has some ways where you can make it so you basically don't have to do anything. But every other tile room is entirely skippable. So it's definitely not fun having to do that long wait.
I missed seeing what was in the big chest in Ice Palace.
Oh, I did too. Whoops. I didn't see a bunch of hype about how it's got to be Kane, so pretty sure it wasn't that. Oh, Maniacal using one of the few items that can actually reach that switch from off screen like that. He was stuck behind the blocks.
Well, very well played, sir.
And yeah, our tracker confirming there was nothing of value in the big chest. And it looks like the second item in Hera is on Troll Dorm. Which, as we said, also has green pendant, so there's definitely
some value to this Tower of Hera play.
Yeah, exactly. Oh, and we have the red cane in Ice Palace. No Name has picked it up. And that's also a potential go mode. But we can't say that too early.
Well, no, because he still needs the mirror.
Oh, the mirror, of course, because of Swamp. The mirror.
That's the wrong commentators link in the chat.
Oh, yeah, that's not us, or I think the command was set for commentary, yeah, and runners. There we go.
Thank you to our restreamer for getting the right link up.
And Maniacal's about to grab his Titan's mitts. And I do wonder if that green pendant will end up being of some value. I'm interested in where No Name is headed right now. He might be thinking about...
He may be thinking about Blacksmith and Gary's Lunchbox.
Yeah. Which are a pain without the mirror because you need to save and quit to deliver them each time, but can also have the mirror because that's possible.
Meanwhile, Maniacal is going to check the Meyer shed.
Yeah, and they also have hammer pegs and magic bat that No Name can be checking out now as well as he's doing all of this.
And it's just 2 Pizza Heart.
Yeah.
Oh, wouldn't it be trolly to have the mirror in the pedestal?
Yes, that definitely would be, and it's so far seeming like it's entirely possible. Actually, I think Meyer might have been what medallion Meyer required might have been the only thing blocking that from happening at this point.
And it appears to be Ether. It also appeared that there was nothing of value in Batcave.
No, just 10 arrows. Maniacal's heading into Ice Palace. And so we'll be seeing him pick up that red cane as well.
Eggplant hat from the blacksmiths.
Ooh. That makes them, what, tailors in this one?
Well, it depends on if that's a tunic or if that's armor.
True. We do call them mail, so I guess that implies armor. Or as Epi points out, a mailman. They're mailmen.
And it definitely looks like No Name is headed for Hammer Pegs and Gary's Lunchbox.
And so we're really, I mean, aside from Maniacal needing to pick up his red cane, which he's right in the spot that he needs to, I'm very curious where we're gonna find that hammer. Mirror. I saw him hammering, and so the word hammer was in my brain. Find that mirror, which is what it's all coming down to now.
And the chat asks a very apropos question at this point regarding Silverless Ganon.
I would be surprised if they can't. If they can't do it. I'm fairly confident they both can. From what I know or have heard of both runners. I know for some runners, they'll still go mode, but maybe check a few convenient locations just in case, in hopes that it'll speed things up a little bit.
Yeah, check chests that aren't out of the way.
Yeah. And so maybe we would see something like that, but even then, I think we've seen most of the runners are very comfortable and have practiced their Silverless Ganon. Most of the runners that are in our tournament, I'm not saying literally everyone who plays this game. You can still be practicing, it's okay.
And No Name is heading into Mire. Which is not an unreasonable play.
Yeah, it's interesting. I might have been inclined to be checking Turtle Rock, but I also always love... It's always great when you can...
Can't get into Turtle Rock. No bombos.
Oh, was bombos required for... I missed that. I was talking about that so much and then missed that being checked. Never mind.
At least I think it was bombos.
I know bombos was on the island. I No Name didn't check it, so I don't... Or unless Maniacal checked it. I think I must have missed Maniacal checking it.
Oh. No, I don't believe Maniacal checked it.
Yeah.
I thought it was checked.
Yeah, I know, because I know No Name didn't, so...
And we've got boots.
Oh, nice.
Okay, Maniacal has not checked Dark World Death Mountain at all.
Yeah, that's what I thought. So again, maybe going to check out Turtle Rock would make sense, but the boots are absolutely valuable. And if you can be in that position to go mode Turtle Rock and then head straight to Ganon's Tower, that's also always a good feeling. It's always nice to do, to be right outside.
The only one I like better is to be able to go mode Tower of Hera into Ganon's Tower.
Yes. I've always wanted that to happen, but I've never had it happen, fortunately. For me.
Good call from No Name there, using the lamp in that room instead of Fire Rod.
Mm-hmm. Then you'll be able to grab a full magic refill here and use that upstairs. As I accidentally got a poke there instead of a sword spin. But they're kind of all sticking together anyway, so some nice RNG on these cold stare movements.
Cold stare can be a rough fight.
Yeah. Yeah, and we have all of the items found in Mire.
And there's a big key, so let's see Meyer finish up.
Oh. Yeah, and with the boots being in here, we do have now, there's more places that can be checked to potentially have that mirror.
Monk Rocks, King's Tomb.
And then with grabbing the pendant, I mean, it does still lead me to wonder if we could end up having some sort of mirror pedestal situation. Maybe book on pedestal leading to mirror, which would be even worse. Oh, actually, the book would not be possible.
Yeah, that would be more than a little horrifying.
I just realized that's actually not possible. So you need either book or mirror to get into desert.
But desert's a crystal.
Oh, right. It is. It's yeah. Never mind.
Oh Lord. How about book on pedestal? Mirror in huge tracts of land.
Mirror in what? Sorry.
Double-chested fairy.
Oh.
He's gonna use Cape Dash strats.
Yeah. Just run out of magic there, but only a few hits left on these, on the mini eyes here.
Okay, Quake. Looks like Turtle Rock is Quake, so vanilla medallions.
So I'm interested to see if Maniacal will hop into Turtle Rock now, because he would have to save and quit out to do so. But it's entirely possible for the mirror to be there. And we're going to get the Bonk Rock checks from No Name.
I would not care to speculate as far as who is ahead.
Yeah, it definitely feels like a... And they're both looking for just the same item now.
Well, we get a mirror shield there from Maniacal's side.
Not the mirror we were looking for, but...
Maybe not the mirror we were looking for, but are they the droids we were looking for?
Yes.
Yes, to answer the chat, there is one item to go mode, and it is the mirror.
It is the mirror, yeah.
Looks like No Name is going to make the Tower of Hera play.
Mm-hmm.
And to answer chat, they were, but Red Cane was in Ice Palace.
Yeah. So now it's all down to the mirror, and I was also just thinking on the subject of being ahead or behind. No Name definitely has the advantage of those boots, which, depending on where that mirror is...
Ooh,
chain chomp
Maniacal
room.
takes... Oh, the stupid chain chomp room.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, the boots, which, depending on where that mirror is, could prove to be an advantage for No Name. We also don't know if boots are required for desert or not.
That's true.
Or for G-Tower, for that matter.
Yeah, as Maniacal continues his way through... Oh, how shall I put this? The Legend of Zelda Super Mario Brothers?
Yes. The Super Mario dungeon. And thankfully, he does have that powder, and this dungeon is not short on anti-fairies or bunny beams.
That is very true.
One of the few things that is generous about this dungeon. And I guess the number of items you can find in it is fairly generous too. Hey, that fire rod shot again to hit that switch.
Yes, nicely played. And an evil suggestion in chat. Book on Trinex, mirror on pedestal, silvers in Mimic Cave.
Oh no.
Now, No Name here can bonk back across, which was not available to Maniacal when he did Tower.
Yeah, and that's always really no bomb.
Bonks are not always a bad thing.
Nope. Oh, No Name gets instantly tackled by Trolldorm.
Trolldorm living up to his name.
And I don't think we have not had a Sahasra check. But in just a moment, both runners will have the green pendant.
I was wondering why Maniacal didn't just dash into that and realized, oh, because he doesn't have boots.
Yep, no boots. It looks like No Name's going to be sued.
Which, if you're already up from Tower Hera, that's not a bad play.
Yeah, that is that's some great routing. And it will turn out to be really great routing if the mirror is here. We have yet to see that.
Wait a minute, I thought Maniacal got the mirror shield.
No, he did not. Mirror shield was one of it was Q.
Okay, it was No Name that got the mirror shield.
Yeah. No Name has the mirror shield.
I really hate iBridge without mirror shield.
Yes. And without boots. I know people like to do their little dash mirror skips, which I can't, or mirror skips, laser skips. I've got the mirror on my brain.
Yeah. Well, with this seed.
Just wondering where we're going to see it. There it is.
We go. We are in go mode on Maniacal's side.
Maybe.
Yes, maybe.
We don't know about the boot situation, but that could be go mode for Maniacal.
That is a valid point. We do not know about the boot situation.
And so I imagine...
Mirror was on iBridge room.
Yeah. The second chest from the top. So I would imagine that we're going to see Desert checked out so that Maniacal can find out if those boots are needed, and we can find out if those boots are needed to finish it. And then if they're not, probably a situation of go moding Swamp, which is always a nice position to be in. But then what isn't a nice position to be in is being in this spot and wondering if G Tower is going to require you to use those boots. Meanwhile, No Name is not concerned about that.
That's true. And No Name, when No Name gets that mirror, he will be in go mode.
That will 100% be go mode, yeah. And yeah, very nice try next fight for Maniacal.
Makes it look easy. Okay, to answer the question in chat, why are boots possibly required? It could be required for the bonk lamp in Desert. It could be required for the bonk lamp in Ganon's Tower.
And what always kind of sucks required for Tower. When they're hard to find, at least. If they're just given to you, then it's fine. But sometimes you end up in Ganon's Tower without boots, and there's the big key on the bonk torch.
Sometimes you end up in Ganon's Tower without Red Cane because neither Meyer nor T-Rock is required. And the big key is on the right side.
Right. I think I might know what you're referring to. Is that a situation where you also find the flute on the left side? of Ganon's Tower, and then find the red cane in Mire, because that is the thing. That can happen.
It wasn't that bad of a troll. The red cane was on the left side of Ganon's Tower.
Oh, okay. The troll I'm talking about happened in a weekly, so the game decided to troll 100 people that day. And so it looks like Maniacal's opting for checking through Swamp. I'm interested to see if he will decide to go mode it, gambling on not needing boots at all. Because again, I think checking Desert to see if you needed the boots might have been a move to make here, but we know the boots aren't here, so it's not necessarily, we know at least for this seed, it's not a bad decision. It could work out to his benefit.
It looks like he is go moding Swamp.
Mm-hmm.
No Name is in go mode. I wonder why he checked the last chest.
Maybe like we were saying earlier, just hoping that maybe the
maybe hoping for silvers.
Yeah, I don't recall I didn't have the item count for the dungeon, although I think actually Mirror was the last.
It was that was an item for him.
Yeah.
It was red rupee.
Oh, okay. So yeah, maybe just hoping for that silvers drop. Yeah, or even butter would be nice to see too. Anything that's gonna speed up that last fight, and if it's in a nice, convenient location, it's not a bad thing to have.
And No Name just managing to get that ice head frozen before the ice came out.
Yeah, always a pain when that happens. The ice floors on this are not fun. Or anywhere else, but especially on this fight. And it looks like Maniacal's doing the same. He's just quickly checking that chest there as he goes through. Just to see if something else drops. But again, we don't know about the situation with the boots. And if the boots are required, I'm interested to see where he would decide to look for them.
King, the boots were in Misery Mire.
Yeah.
And No Name is heading for Desert. So we will see if boots are required for Desert.
We will. Just an arrow upgrade from Argus. And we're coming to the moment of truth. Oh,
boots
the big
are
key.
required.
The big key is on the torch. So now I do wonder where Maniacal is going to decide to go when he finds out that the boots are required. Meanwhile, No Name is able to go mode this. And Willard boots were in Pendant Mire. And unfortunately, Maniacal does have quite a few places unchecked that...
Although he's going straight for Mire.
I think he's going to mirror into Desert.
True. He's mirroring into Desert. But he is in a great position to go straight over to Meyer.
He is. I worried because I could imagine a lot of people not jumping right into that and instead going to check some other locations first. Because again, he still has a lot open to him that he didn't check, including go moding through Swamp.
But it's V26, so do Skull Woods and do Pendant Dungeons.
Oh, and of course, if a small key is over here, it's always possible that Boots could just be in the dungeon, even though we know that's not the case. So he's probably thinking that he's going to go check these other 2 items and see if maybe the Boots are already in here. Which actually isn't it's not a bad thought by any means, given
No, it really
isn't. Given the V26 logic, it makes perfect sense that could be what happens. And now No Name is off to go mode Swamp.
It looks like he is going to come back and check Meyer or Checkerboard Cave.
Yeah. That is definitely unfortunate for Maniacal, although it would be much worse if it was.
Well, he's doing Checkerboard first.
Yeah. Just a red rupee. Oh, and it looks like he was never at Agonist, so he's going to jump in there too.
No, one of the comments in chat, I really wished for Ganon's Tower Torch Big Key instead.
Either way, it was a fairly trolly spot for Boots. So I mean, it's hard for required Boots. So I certainly wouldn't want to fault Maniacal for this by any means, because it was a bit of not necessarily a gamble, but No Name got lucky going to check all of that out when he even had other crystals open to him. So it was a very lucky check for him. And so, as I was saying, Maniacal has a lot of things that he hasn't checked that make perfect sense to check right now.
Medallion, Meyer was blue pendant and ether medallion.
And at least with Mirror, he'll be able to check quite a few things here all at once. But obviously it'll all come down to how soon he decides to dip into Meyer and see if he can find anything there, which we know he will. It looks like No Name is still doing some checks, hoping for maybe Buttered, or probably Silvers would be preferable to Butter, but either way. Doing some of those quick checks to see if that'll drop somewhere.
Which is not unreasonable.
Yeah.
I wonder what the runners are thinking at this point at 145 and not seeing a dot done yet.
Mm-hmm.
Rick, the story of this seed is every pendant dungeon had something in it.
Yeah.
So in other words, it's a V26 seed.
It is classic V26. And with probably the trolliest of all of that being my boots, required boots in Meyer. And never really necessarily giving you a strong reason to go into Meyer. There was never a time where only Meyer was open. And that's Pendant Meyer again. And that is a nice Argus fight from No Name. And his 7th crystal. So most likely we'll be seeing him heading to Ganon's Tower, which of course means it's time to get your G Tower big key guesses and 22 item locations in Ganon's Tower. So we're looking for a number between 1 and 22 as to where you think No Name will be finding the big key.
Ooh, our tracker's calling Lamp.
I usually guess either Bonk Torch or Bob's Chest, and I'm feeling Bonk Torch on this one. I'm feeling that. What do you think? What do you think?
I'm going with a couple of the actually several of the people in the chat saying tile room.
Tile room.
I'm gonna go tile room till it happens.
That is something I often think when we see a seed that already has a few trolly things in it. I'm always like, well, it's got to be the tile room. But last time I did that, it did end up being the tile room, so I'm not going to make that guess while doing commentary ever again.
You know, I guess I'm unusual in that when I go to the right side, I always do the tile room first.
Oh, I see. Yeah, you don't save it for the end?
No, if I'm going through it, I may as well just take care of it.
That's fair, that's fair.
But once again, if you're not already following these runners, why aren't you? Because
tell us in chat. No, I'm kidding.
They're great.
They are great. They have been doing very well on this. Let the trolliness fool. You know, Maniacal's only that one item away from making excellent times. We're going to be able to start seeing the chest count as Maniacal is sort of wrapping up his Dark World checks. I don't recall what else he might have after this aside from Meyer. Unless something in one of these spots leads him, you know, down a wild goose chase somewhere else. That's two chests so far. And he got silvers from one of them. Oh, no bonk torch for this one, just a blue rupee.
In all seriousness, though, I usually figure it's going to be a randomizer room.
Or 5, 6, 7, still no big key. A lot of people were guessing tile room, so that guess is still alive. I won't call it a dream because it's not necessarily the dream.
Commentator's dream always is the pedestal seed.
Yeah.
But that's rarely the player's dream.
We've got a Bloomerang in 9.
$50 in 10, 11, 12, 13. It's not in the
13.
randomizer room.
Oh, and he's... Interesting, he's going to go down right side before making the trip to Ice Armos. It looks like Maniacal is thinking...
Someone did that in a race last night and came back to haunt them.
Looks like he's thinking to head back into Swamp since he go-moded it earlier.
Not unreasonable. It is a whole lot more items than Meyer.
Yeah, it's a lot of items, and it was a crystal dungeon, so you might be thinking, you know, in the logic sequence, that's where Boots fell. Of course, in this case, they weren't necessarily in a sequence; they were off in a different dungeon. Yeah, it's a tile room, just a small key. And that also puts us at check. $14 or $15?
Oh, that's right. VTorp ended up winning that race by about 20 seconds.
Oh, we've got chest 16. If you guess 16 or this room, you win.
And what do they win, partner?
They win the adoration of just me. I'm not guaranteeing that anyone is going to adore them, but I do. So there's that. GG. I think it's a valuable prize. Eternal love, exactly. No Name's going to make use of the silvers he found.
That's a different strategy than I'm used to seeing in that room.
Which part of the strategy?
I'm used to seeing grab the statue, pull the statue.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I've seen both quite a bit. I think a lot of people prefer the sword slashes, but I also do the grabbing the statue. I like how No Name hit the switch before getting past where all of the spikes are and dodged them perfectly. Just walked right through them without getting hit.
And he's running in to pick up fairies, which is always a good thing, and full magic refill.
Very nice for the gauntlet coming up.
Because let's face it, if those Stalfos, red Stalfos get the least bit out of control, the room is going to take a long time.
Yep. And he's making use of the fire rod, which is definitely handy here, although he's got to watch his magic as well for some upcoming rooms. He had a nice... Oh, I was going to say he had a nice magic drop in the last room, but that's an even better magic drop in this room.
Yeah, that may be the best drop he's got in this whole race. Wonder why he's not using silvers on Landmo2.
I could definitely see being more comfortable with the fire rod use. I know if I have half magic, I will often opt for it because of how fast the fire rod shots are. It's a little bit easier to hit them. It just takes more shots. It's probably faster to just use silvers, but I definitely get the more comfort with the fire rod.
Okay, that's valid. I know, I'm just always, at this point, looking in terms of making sure I've got enough fire rod, match camo for my fire rod for that torch room and the torch room coming up.
Yeah. And now with silvers and enough keys to just go through, yep, he's just gonna skip over these chests. We're not gonna have to worry about those. Probably won't be seeing validation chest check. But you never know.
I think that ended up counting as a poke.
Mm-hmm. So now we've got Speedy Troll Dorm. No, but his movement patterns were not trolly. Maniacal's done with wrapping up Swamp, so I wonder if Meyer is his only option left. Yeah, it looks like that's where he's heading. And we know that's where he'll find his boots.
And I cannot blame the use of the cape there for No Name.
Yeah, that.
Although he will need to refill his magic before the Ganon fight. I don't know. Was that a single or a double?
I couldn't tell. It looked like it might have been one of those shots where one of them didn't register, but then we had a nice second pattern from him there. Hopefully that triple went through as a triple.
There goes Agate 2.
We said that almost exactly the same way.
So as we start, as things start to wrap up for No Name, we want to thank Randomizer Mania for hosting some of these matches. We want to thank the runners again. If you're not following them, you definitely should be.
Oh, and there's the boots for Maniacal Lab.
There's boots for Maniacal. That's gonna put him into go mode.
Sorry, you can continue the thanking. I didn't interrupt you.
No, important game event happens.
Yeah, and absolutely be sure, if you haven't already, I'd be surprised. There's been a lot of these going on. I'm sure you all know about it, but we've got 4 speed gaming channels, 4 Randomizer Mania channels, all doing randomizer races for this tournament, the main and secondary tournaments. So be sure to follow all of those. Check out the tournament schedule. There's a lot of randomizers still happening. It's a good time to be a rando fan.
As No Name gets into phase 3 of the Ganon fight. It's a good time, if you don't already run Rando, to learn Rando.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, you have the opportunity to see a lot of people who have been practicing very hard, who are very good at this, racing each other.
And No Name gets toward glitch.
And it looks like that was his last hit. So that's GG for Ihavenoname248. And he's finished in first place with an official SRL time of 2 hours, 2 minutes, and 11 seconds. Your quest is over.
Oh, I was hoping you would end the domination of Dr. Wily.
We're all hoping for that.
Or that his princess would be in another castle.
And we will likely be getting... This is definitely a seed that will be fun to talk about.
That's an appropriate name for this seed. Salt Cellar.
I like that. And while waiting here, post-race interview going, feel free to get your bonk guesses in. We'll be seeing those on I Have No Names credits soon. Well, maybe not soon. There's quite a bit more to go, but soon enough.
Welcome, I Have No Name. Congratulations.
Thank you.
GG. So, I mean, I think the obvious thing to bring up is those boots.
Yeah, those boots. As soon as I saw them, my thought was, well, if these are required, I'm in really good shape. If they're not required, then that's still not bad for the time invested going here. But while I'm here, I might as well clear just in case Mirror is on pedestal, because it still could be.
Right.
And that's why I did Hera before Turtle Rock.
Yeah, that makes sense. I'm interested to know, because obviously it worked out very well, but why the Meyer play at that point? Because it was one of those things when you were going in, and there are other things to check, so this is interesting. But then the boots dropped, and I was like, well,
it worked.
It worked out.
I was thinking, okay, I'm looking for Mirror. Mirror has to be somewhere. It can't be behind Mirror, and there's 2 items quick in the Meyer shed. So if I treat like an extension of Mirror, then that's not too bad. And the items usually drop Meyer pretty quickly. So boots and first test kind of shows that. So that's 3 items
Right.
for not very long if I have the medallion.
Yeah.
And then that one item which I went and found. Then I figured, I'm here. If pedestal's required, I might as well get this pendant. If it's not, I'm sinking, what, 3 minutes? I feel like I gained that back with the Dark Eastern play.
Oh yeah, for sure, for sure. I mean, you also, in terms of racing, gained it back from just having the boots.
This is true.
Literally, because there's a trolley spot for them, so it was a very lucky play.
I mean, I was there. There wasn't much else that was just strictly Titan's mid-lock, and
Yeah,
I
mhm.
figured, what's the absolute worst that can happen? I get sniped.
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
It looks like Pedestal had the shovel.
Oh,
Where was Book?
maybe at the dig spot. Who knows? Or maybe, or as the chat was hoping for, maybe shovel to what was it? Mushroom to to book or something like that. I don't know. They were hoping for the fetch quest chain.
Yeah. Like, my biggest worry was that I was going to find something that would lead to Book in Turtle Rock, and then Book would lead me to Mirror in Desert or something.
Right, right.
Because then I'd have to double dip Turtle Rock. Nobody wants to do that.
No, absolutely not.
Oh yeah, the other reason I felt like I could play safe in terms of locations and do Meyer and Hera is because I went to Thieves Town early and found 2 swords.
Right, yeah, that was the other thing that was interesting. We never found another sword upgrade either.
Wow. Yeah, my
Oh
thought
man,
there
that
was,
Thieves Town.
Thieves Town is pretty fast, right?
Yeah. Oh
And
yeah.
having a better sword than fighter doesn't really matter. I'm comfortable with the fighter sword going through there. I prefer more, but I'm comfortable with it. As soon as I
Yeah.
saw the master sword, I was like, okay, that's time well. And then Tempered came up, and I'm like, okay, whatever. I'm comfortable to beat the game now.
Yeah. Yeah, Thieves Town is definitely always a good it's a good bet with some quick item checks, and to have 2 swords drop there.
Yeah.
Ooh, Maniacal has his turn wrong and misses the bonk across to Ice Armos.
Oh yeah, he picked up the skull by accident there.
So I take it then he went all the way through left and just straight to Ice Armos.
Yes.
I used
Yeah,
to do
yeah.
that, and then I realized, I don't really like doing Ice Armos. I'd rather put it off if I can. So
Yeah,
I do right side first if I can, and then mirror after I get the last chest, and then do left side, or whichever side I didn't do.
Right.
Which, and the tile room play, I'm sure that was questionable too. I saw my key count, figured if another key doesn't turn up, I'm in trouble. So I might as well do it just in the hopes that a key turns up, and it did, and that ended up saving some time. Saved me worry, at least.
Maniacal just found the book behind Ice Armo.
Wow.
So that
You know,
answered
see-
that question we were just asking.
No, see, I don't think the tile room play is questionable at all, because that's how I play right side Ganon's Tower.
Yeah,
I-
Stuart was a fan of the tile room play, and I was a fan of the doing left side up to Ice Armos and mirroring. I thought that was interesting. That was very interesting. When you mirrored out, I was like, oh, okay.
Yeah.
I like where this is going.
And Maniacal doing the tile room play as well.
Mhm.
Wow. 39 pre-mirror.
Sorry?
139 pre-mirror.
Oh yeah. I don't know if we got any bonk S's or not going. Everybody threw those out there. Lots of GGs for you though. Oh, and we see 18.
When
Bonk
did
a
you
lot.
when did you figure out you were ahead?
I kind of figured I was ahead after Thieves Town, and as soon as the hammer dropped from regular Armos,
Right.
that just opened up Dark World to Thieves Town, and figured, okay, that's probably a good lead. I can clear the dungeon even though Blind doesn't have anything.
Yeah, and
I was
that
actually feeling like I was behind around the time I was doing pod.
Oh, okay, I see. Yeah. Yeah, and that hammer drop from Armos as well it had us excited for the potential of a sequence break that might have been letting you avoid Ago. We later realized that it could have still been reached without sequence breaking, but it was kind of an interesting, like,
straight
oh,
in the lap.
yeah, exactly. But for a while there, we were all thinking that Armos hammer might have been a huge Aga skip moment.
I cannot believe that I screwed up the easiest program.
Oh, which one was that?
The first one in Eastern, I've messed that up really badly, looped around the whole thing again.
Oh, yeah.
And then at least I nailed the other ones.
Yeah, exactly.
Maybe it's just me, but I think the second one is easier than that one.
The second one I find a lot easier if I have hook shot, otherwise it can be easy to just line up wrong.
Oh no. Maniacal hit one of the hard hat beetles in the room with the big key and got knocked into the portal. That
Oh
sucked.
no! I had that happen to me once. It was the big key was the last just there, and I knew it was there, but like, it was ahead, and like that is awful.
Yeah, that never feels. That doesn't feel good. But yeah, again, GG. Jeff, any other thoughts on this one?
Well, last time I had to do all the dungeons, it took 20 minutes longer than that.
Oh well. GG indeed. All dungeons PB happen here.
Well, I didn't do Aga 1, but nobody wants to do
True.
Aga 1.
True.
I think it showed that my opening is practiced. I'm used to standard. I think it also showed that it was a little rough at the beginning. Like, I've not done escape backwards, so I forgot to get the key.
Right.
I do like what I came up with for the start, though. That was something I was just thinking about before the race.
What was that?
Skip to the Sanctuary, test Houlihan, Link, Uncle, and then save and quit back to Sanctuary, and just treat it like the start of the third.
Oh, okay, yeah.
That's not an unreasonable way to do it.
Mm-hmm.
I, like you, am much more comfortable with standard, so I kind of have that same thought process of, well, do escape, do Kakariko.
But yeah, thank you again though for the awesome run. I think we're gonna stick around here and see Maniacal finishing up. He's heading up G Tower now. He's picked up that big key. You're welcome to stick around with us if you want to keep chatting.
Yeah, I'll stick around. Pull up the stream so I can see what he's doing.
Yeah. He's now he should be on a straightforward route. Although after some of the things that occurred, I could imagine some tilting happening. I'd be a little frustrated and probably making some mistakes.
That room in Ganon's Tower with all the traps and the Igor, that was impressive.
Oh yeah. when you hit the switch and then just dodged all the spikes instead of hitting it after you were past where the spikes were. It was like, no,
yeah, I completely forgot to do that.
Okay. You could have told me that was just you being a total pro, and I would have believed you, because it was like hit the switch and then just waltz through the spikes, no problem. I was like, dang, that was great.
I've got to hit the switch. Wait, no, I hit the switch later. I've played a decent amount of bullet hells, so that probably helped.
That makes sense. Yeah, that shows.
Oh yeah, the other reason I thought I could play safe was just where Ice Rod was. I was very happy to see Ice Rod. I was very happy to see Fire Rod from Zora.
Oh yes, yeah.
Because you could tell I was bending my routing around having enough rupees for that.
Yeah, Maniacal actually had Fire Rod before even going into Skull the first time.
Yeah, I knew that was entirely possible, but it
yeah,
didn't end up helping in this case.
Yeah. For a little bit, it looked like it was helping, but it really was all about the boots on this one.
Yeah, really, I was thinking this could go either way, right up until that Big D and Desert showed up on the lamp.
Yeah, and you were in very similar at that point, despite having taken some very different routes. So it was one of those things of if there's a big key on a torch here or a torch in G Tower,
Yep.
that's gonna make a big difference.
Yeah, I knew I had to hope once I saw that. I guess it was closer than I thought.
Yeah, it was pretty close up to that point.
Yeah, there was quite a bit of back and forth, and I think another thing that helped a little bit was there are a few locations that you checked faster, that you checked very quickly that Maniacal hadn't looked at. So once that big key was on the torch, he had quite a few things that he could check before going into Mire.
Yeah, and Mire 2 locations, it's something you usually want to put off, but I remember looking at the stats on where items were, and hey, Mire's actually pretty good for how locked it is.
Yeah.
And it's V26, so do pendant dungeons.
Well, Hera didn't have anything, did it?
No, we didn't get anything from there, no.
I mean, Sahasrahla might have had something.
No, Maniacal ended up checking.
Oh, really?
He had completed Hera already, fairly early on, and then again when he found out he needed those boots, that was one of the things he had to check still. And it was, I want to say it was just a Pizza Hut.
Yeah, I'd also considered doing Hera when I was first up there. Ultimately, just decided Dark Death Mountain was slightly more important to check immediately. And then as soon as I saved and quit there, I realized I should have checked Turtle Rock's medallion to see if it was Bombos.
Maniacal just bonked the validation chest a few times and it didn't even open it.
And
fair.
I thought the different name for Rufus Xavier Sarsaparilla was completely appropriate for this stage.
Yeah, I'm pretty happy with how I played that.
Yeah, absolutely, and it was.
And Maniacal doing Swaggin' strats.
Yep. He's going for the bug. He's going for the bug. Where was the net actually? It must have been in G Tower that you hadn't checked. I don't know because I don't remember him. I don't remember him picking it up.
It was Swamp.
Okay.
Oh, right, because he went back to. So he had go-moded Swamp before finding out that he needed boots, and so he ended up going back to full clear it after.
Yeah, that was the other reason why. Because Go Mode Swamp is just so fast, I wanted to put that off if I could.
Yes, yeah.
And individual locations don't have too much.
Yeah, Go Mode Swamp is nice.
Yeah, if you can go mode Swamp and Ice, I mean, it's just the best. Don't do the dungeon. It's great. Skip the whole thing.
I mean, I genuinely like Swamp as a dungeon now.
You know what the funny thing is?
So do I.
I genuinely like both of them as dungeons, but it's just, time-wise, it's great to just not have to do two whole dungeons.
I mean, Skull Woods is almost like that too.
A little bit, yeah.
See, I, on the other hand, I love Swamp Palace as a dungeon. I despise Ice Palace.
I'm on Ice Palace. It's okay, I guess. It's really cool ideas, it's just not exactly the most fun thing to play.
That's fair. I think the ice physics in this game aren't wonderful for anyone who's spoiler warning for anyone who might not know that. Don't mean to fire shots at Nintendo or anything.
Ganon's firing shots at Link right now.
This is true. But I think the design, what the intention of the design of Ice Palace is really clever, and it also makes it very clever in Randomizer because there's a lot of different ways to route it depending on whether or not you have the hook shot and what keys you find going through.
I was so happy to see that early small key.
Right.
I hate not having an early small key in Ice Palace. It just makes everything so awkward.
Yeah.
Maniacal gets his torch glitch.
Yep. Oh, and a nice double there. Yeah, the only thing that negates the clever design of Ice Palace is the fact that, we've found a way around it that makes it nice and fast.
I mean, the design still works even with that, which is really cool.
Yeah. And that is GG for Maniacal, with an official SRL time of 2 hours, 21 minutes, and 47 seconds. So definitely get your GGs in the chat.
Once again, if you're not following these runners, why aren't you? You need to be.
I love the way you phrased that. Why aren't you doing it yet? Come on. Yeah, definitely give both runners a follow. Really good race from these two. And very well done on a seed that is admittedly a tiny bit trolly. Those boots. Yeah, I see you talking in SRL about that as well, which was a fun spot for a required mirror.
I don't know, I feel like even if I had mirror before boots and found boots were required, I probably would have checked mirror pretty early in that. Just because checkerboard cave's right there.
Right.
Like I said, Meyer actually gives up its items pretty early. It's a lengthy dungeon, but if you're just clearing the items, unless one's on Vitreous, that's 2 items for a couple minutes.
Yeah, that's true. And again, clearly it worked. So it was.
I mean, it could just as easily have backfired, but it didn't matter that it could have backfired here.
Yeah, because it was, as you're saying, it was a reasonable amount of time to spend for the potential of an item drop like the one that you got.
Also, once again, want to shout out to Epibliticos, who was our restreamer, and Fantasia, who was our tracker.
And another reminder, if you want to see all of the races that are going on right now, you need to check out Speed Gaming 1 through 4 and Randomizer Mania 1 through 4 to see both of the tournaments happening right now. And I think we're going to chat with Maniacal for a bit as well. Oh, and you know what? Again, something that I see being mentioned in the SRL, also that hookshot spot.
I don't even remember where hookshot was.
So it dropped off of Mothula. And so that was another thing that we thought was going to, make somewhat of a difference in time because Maniacal didn't have to double dip it. Oh, he is about to join.
I don't really consider what I did a double dip because I did the front half just as while passing through Overworld, and then I just did the back half later with Fire Rod. It's like first half is basically just caves or an extension of Village of Outcasts.
True, and I think that's the way most people have been. That you can go to.
I mean, it's V26. Do Skull Woods.
It's V26. Everything you need is in a dungeon. Can you do a dungeon? Do the dungeon. Do you need lamp for this dungeon? Don't care. Lamp will turn up. Do the dungeon.
There we go. Maniacal.
Hey, can you hear me?
Yep.
Can hear you fine.
Oh, wonderful. GG, I have no name. That was so bad. I played like a dumpster fire for 2.5 hours. I don't know why I didn't not forfeit.
I wouldn't go that far, but
I mean, from the sounds of it, we were pretty close until Boots turned up.
The boots were the thing that made the difference, to be honest. Like, you were very close. There was definitely some back and forth.
Okay, I was sure I was 15 minutes behind out at Skull Woods, and I figured I had like a 60-40 in front of me, where the 60 also was like 12 minutes shorter, to assume I was in go mode when I found Mirror.
Right.
And so I just said, screw it, let's go mode Swamp. And I should have gone Desert first. Like, that was a punt, and double dipping there was just a disaster. And I mean, I did everything I could to lose that one, and rightly did. So
I mean, every pendant dungeon.
I didn't clear every pendant dungeon, but I cleared everyone except for Meyer.
Yeah.
Once,
but at that point you knew you had everything and didn't need to worry about Mirror on pedestal.
Yeah,
I was still worried about having to blind pull Mirror.
Yeah, I left once I got Boots. I didn't clear Meyer. I didn't get the last state. Or actually, I don't know. Did Trinex drop the last item in Turtle Rock?
No,
it was the last Mirror Bridge location.
It was the last chest
or Laser Bridge. Yeah. That's what I figured. I didn't mark that I'd gotten all the items out of T-Rock because I included T-Rock with Baroness Spike Cave as potential locations where the boots might be.
Right.
But yeah. that was just a mess.
Like I said, you were pretty close, and the Skullwood situation, despite the deaths, the fact that you stuck to it and got the hook shot did at the time was an advantage that you had, because No Name still didn't have it yet and had to go back, needed to go back for it.
Fire Rod was like the last possible location for some sort of progression for me.
Yeah.
Where was the Fire Rod again? I feel like
Zora.
King Zora.
Oh, it was over at Zora. Yeah, I did like a full Light World sweep, and it paid off pretty well. I didn't clear absolutely everything. I didn't get up to Death Mountain until after I had done a large swath of the Dark World. Like, I'd cleared, I want to say 2 dungeons in Dark World, because I just cleared Thieves Town on the first pass, kind of arbitrarily.
No, also I did that too.
It was quick. I didn't have the mirror. I miscounted the bombs in chest 2, I think, is where the bombs were. I miscounted those not as an item, and wasn't sure. I wasn't 100% certain that Blind didn't have something.
Yeah, I killed Blind anyway because, again, it's not that long. I could do it comfortably. It would refill my magic. And
Exactly.
hey.
Yeah, in that situation.
Required.
Yeah, killing Blind was like basically the same amount of time it would take to walk out of the dungeon with a magic refill strapped to it, so it seemed fine.
Yeah. Also, just throwing it out there, you both had 18 bonks, so...
I made sure to go for plenty of them.
Well, and that's interesting because you did the 4 extra. If it hadn't been for that, you exactly the same number of bonks, thanks to your bonking the validation chest to tease us, just to ditch it after.
I think it was just a blue rupee.
Yeah.
I did open it because why not?
Yeah, that run did not deserve validation. That run deserved to be filed in the delete this VOD and better luck next time, scrub bin.
Hey! I would still be playing this seed and would probably still be playing this seed for another hour.
Well, I mean, it was a fun seed. It was
Yeah.
totally fair. I just did the very wrong things.
I felt like I was doing some of the wrong things, so that's randomizer.
Yeah, I was gonna say I managed to do 20 minutes more of wrong things.
Some of them dying to Mothula, apparently.
Yeah. A lot of it was dying to Mothula, but
I think most of it was having to look for boots.
I was gonna say almost all of it was assuredly by the end of it. I felt like I played moderately cleanly for a lot of it. I didn't have too much trouble with the dark rooms, so like things went like medium for most of the seed, and then just turned into a giant disaster right around Skullwoods and
So
right
what
around.
dark rooms did you do? I only did Eastern and Old Man.
I did Eastern, Old Man, and Pod because I did Pod on my first sweep through Dark World.
Yeah, because I barely had enough rupees for Zora, so I needed to go get rupees from somewhere before I could do Pod.
Okay, yeah, I had Hula Hand when I went to do the back. I did the back part of the Escape in the Dark too for Ice Rod. I Hula Hand right when I did that because I already had the gloves, was already pushing the grave open. Like it didn't make sense to not Hula Hand and then flute from Link's house.
I Hula Hand right at the start. First thing. Like literally first thing before any item locations.
That's reasonable. I mean, I see a lot of folks go for that.
Guaranteed bombs, don't have to worry about them.
Yeah.
Really nice.
Yeah, I did have to go buy bombs.
On the plus side, we did get to see both methods for getting to the Houlihan room with and without flippers. So, you know.
Yeah. Well, we didn't get to show you the boots method.
No, well.
I don't know any other methods, actually.
Oh, the Maniacal used the method because he had flippers where you bomb into the grave. And I think the boots method, isn't that you like run across the entire map?
You can do it a few different ways. If you do it bootsless, flipperless, you can do basically the same thing as you would do to screw up your Y pixel with without. And it's kind of the most general, but you can also bonk some trees, and if you bonk something and hit the edge of the screen, in the Y coordinate, you can screw up your Y coordinate that way.
Yeah.
And so the game gets just as confused and throws you into a bunch of rupees. It's basically the same thing though.
See, I had heard about the Houlihan room, but had never really actually seen it until yesterday.
Yeah, it's a nice tool, especially if you are looking to get up to Zora, which I was looking to get to Zora, especially like early Moon Pearl, and then also early Flippers, which is just like but like early Moon Pearl basically sets you up very nicely to go clear that area out.
Yeah, I was worried about the fake flipper stuff having something valuable because I put it off because I'll clear Zora when I do that too.
Exactly.
I didn't have the money for it.
Yeah, I had plenty of money. I ended up I think I cleared Ice Rod Cave and then fluted up to the Witch and went up that way. Because we also already had gloves really early. It was like a really all this sweet stuff early seed. But then the boots and I guess to a lesser extent the mirror were pretty well tucked away.
Yeah, mirror was the last thing I found because Turtle Rock was the last thing I did before Desert.
Oh,
I had nowhere left to look but Turtle Rock at that point.
Oh wow. Okay, so you went into Mire fairly early then.
Oh yeah, I went into Mire
Yes.
shortly after Titans met. Mire Shed.
Okay.
It's like, I'll check Mire while I'm here. Boots.
Yeah,
Whether
I
they're required or not, I knew that was a good call at that point.
yeah, I did Mire Shed basically as I actually did Mire Shed in a really dumb spot. That was another one of the big mistakes I made in this is I went over and I did Mire Shed like as soon as I had mitts instead of going and just doing Ice Palace,
I mean,
which
that's
was
a
like
reasonable
inexcusably
decision.
bad. It seemed pretty bad given that I couldn't do any of the other stuff in that area. Like I didn't have mirror. I wanted to see what the medallion was, but
Yeah.
I wasn't going to be go moding Ice Palace anyway. So
I
it
think
just
it was a reasonable decision because if Mire Shed turned out to have two valuable items, like say it had mirror,
Yeah.
you could go mode Ice Palace. So it seems reasonable enough to me, especially since you'd need to save and quit after either area anyway.
yeah, it seemed pretty strongly minus EV, but I made the mistake and I was like, "Oh, this is really bad" as soon as I flew to there and then I was like, "Well, we're committed, so let's go."
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Like there are like if I felt like I really needed to gamble and didn't feel comfortable just like wiping Ice Palace, then I could see that being a call, but and I did feel like I needed to gamble a little bit, which is why I made the big gamble on boots not being required for desert because I was looking to make up time after all the moth deaths,
Hmm.
but it did not work out. It just
I mean, if it did, it would have been pretty close. I think you would have gotten to Ganon's tower slightly ahead, and then I would have passed you due to having boots in there.
I don't know. I spent a lot of time looking for those boots. I was looking at it at like, okay, if I wipe this, I was looking at it as like a 145 range seed, and then it just wasn't. Like when I started heading into ice, I mean, it may be 150, 155, but it was looking like a reasonable time, and
Yeah.
then it all of a sudden was very, very bad.
Fair enough.
I feel like I probably played it too safely, but I felt like I was ahead from a couple of the early things I did.
Yeah.
I'll have to check out the VOD once I am no longer angry at it.
Yeah, you definitely want to check that out because like we've been saying, it was close and the
Okay.
boots were a huge factor. So I think you'll be
Yeah.
I think you'll get a lot out of seeing sort of what happened when.
Yeah, I'm sure. And I thought about diving Mire at that point as well, because I did have the Ether Medallion, and I was over there. But
Yeah, but
that was
that's not the way it went.
that was not what I did.
Yeah.
And it's possible if I still had Mire Shed that right after Ice Palace I go back over there. But
Yeah. Well, thank you both very much for an awesome race.
Yeah,
Thank
that was a really nice race, guys.
Yeah.
oh well.
And best
Thank
of
you.
luck the rest of the tournament.
Yeah.
I'll need to do quite well from here if I want to have an appreciably long rest of the tournament, but we'll see how it goes. But thank you for the game, and thank you for the commentary.
No problem. Thank you both.
You're
And
very
GG's.
welcome.
Yeah, DT, fun race.
GG, take it easy.
And just one more time for everyone, make sure you give both a follow. And if you want to see all the races that are going on in the tournament, make sure you're following Speed Gaming's 4 channels, Randomizer Mania's 4 channels. A lot of races happening right now. Lots of great links to the past randomizer play going on. And with that, I'm going to head off. Thank you guys very much. And thank you, Stuart.
Thank you, iBasley. I will catch all of you on the flip side.
Good night.